Hello and good morning. You are back with the crew. I am the crew. You are the crew. We are all the crew. Today, oh, by the way, people have asked, the painting that I will change occasionally up over my shoulder here is my lovely wife's work, Elizabeth. And she's getting better at what she does, and she loves what she does, and I think she's quite good at it. And anyway, I thought I'd display that because behind that is just a roll of paper towels, and that looks way better, don't you think? Anyway, so today, I had so many great questions about, Allan, you got that one wrong. You're contradicting yourself. And oh my God, you said that XRP would not be an ETF, and now you're saying it is. And which one is it, Allan? Are what's your problem here? Let me get into that with everybody, because this is really a key point going forward. As many of you know, I believe in all the top 20, 30 coins. I love them all, okay? We're all in this together. Some coins I have more than others, and I appreciate their projects, and I know more about them because they're deep dive and they're easier to deep dive into. And I urge anybody that has not looked into what the workings of what Ripple has done, it's deep. They're in everything, okay, banking. And if you can't see the use case in that as an investment, okay, well, I bought it at 60 cents and it went to $1.20 and I'm out because I don't really like who those people are. Just as an investment case by case situation, I really believe in Ripple. I really believe in XRP just because of the documents have told me so. Having said that, the deep dive in which I've done into the entire thing is shallow compared to many other channels and many other people. I don't know what a lot of these people do know, but I do know the bigger picture of things in finance and economics and graphs and charts and math. I'm pretty well rounded in all of that. My real true strength, if I can say anything, is I have the ability to put the third piece to the puzzle that most people don't do in evaluating anything of value. And it's the first piece being the math. Oh, okay, that's your charts, your math, and all the rest of it. And does it, is it going up? Is it making a higher high? Is it making a higher low? All of this is technical analysis. Number two, it's legality. Does it pass the, whatever test in the system in which the system believes it's an equity or not a commodity or whatever else it might be, a stock, a bond, or whatever it may be. The system deems it so and advertises it and allows people to sell it within their network. Those two are the really big, most important things. But the third thing is something that I put more emphasis on than I do any other factor. That's you and I. It's people. People make adoption. People make the S-curves. People make all things that is a thing is created by man. An idea, a concept, a belief that gets shared with another man, with another woman, and another person. And the next thing you know, it becomes social. And then it's a social belief in something and an understanding, and then it makes sense. And then when you can put that on code and you can say, well, this helps the majority. This is economically viable. This is more important than the chart. This is more important than banking law. This is good for man. And that third element, which is my first element, is what I focus upon when I talk to you, with you, about anything that this channel covers. Everything beyond that is frosting, is chatter. The real foundation of what my abilities are is to understand the ramifications of man's future needs use case. And I've seen it time and time and time and time again. So many avenues that I've gone down in my lifetime that have been prosperous or failed. And then the passion behind the ones that prospered is contagious. And then it becomes you and I. And then we understand the beauty and the importance of said coin or project. Having said all of that, when I mentioned, and I got it wrong, let me say that differently. I had a different flight path for what I thought XRP was going to do. See, it's of my conclusions that I've come to, and many others, great work done, okay, by Jimmy Valley and many other people, and I've read his reports, and I appreciate his angle. It's his perception. It's his staff's perception of what he thinks can happen. Doesn't matter whether or not you agree or disagree with it. Again, this is a social situation in which we're living in. It's a living, breathing, moving, growing and flowing place we're in, space that we're all involved in. So taking his work and many of the banks and stuff that I've looked into, I perceive XRP to be currency. I believe it to be the future of currency and value being transmitted globally from whatever you have that you'd like to sell to somebody else. That avenue of transferability of the wealth of something to the need of something else is commerce. That's interaction between man to man, human to human. That's what it's going to represent. So in thinking in that way and having thought that way for, I don't know, 5-6 years now, I've felt that way about XRP. And as you people know, I've shared a couple of the visions that I've had that, you know, brought me to that conclusion. I didn't think that anybody would attempt to make an ETF out of currency. It didn't make sense. It didn't compute. It still doesn't. And let me articulate what I'm talking about. There is money, which is gold, okay? Gold became an ETF. There is stock value, those become ETFs. They did not ETF the US dollar. They didn't, because it's a currency, right? So is Bitcoin a currency? They call it a cryptocurrency, but it's really not, is it? It, in my opinion, for a long time now, have always believed Bitcoin to be a storage of wealth, just like gold. So gold is not currency. Gold is not ever going to be traded from pocket to pocket ever again, or laptop to laptop. That's my opinion. Again, I'll probably get that one wrong. But the bottom line is, it's a storage of wealth. It's something that's perceived to not lose its value and goes up and beats inflation annually, okay? When Bitcoin came along and became the new digital money, they loved the idea of calling it a commodity. Because if you call it a commodity and people make capital gains on it, they can tax you. Also, if you call it a commodity, it can't be a currency. It could be, but in their eyes, it wouldn't be, right? They didn't try and make a stock. I know the XRP community gets hung up on this. They didn't make a Bitcoin a stock. It's not fair. They're trying to make XRP a stock. I know. I get that. It's not an invalid argument. But the problem is they've called it a commodity so that they could tax it. They didn't want it to be a currency because then they can't tax it. You don't get taxed on the movement of your dollars. You get taxed on the objects in which you purchase or the income you get from them. But you don't on the dollars. They wanted to be able to tax it and control it, which is currently what's happening right now. When you have an ETF, it allows certain amount of governmental control through rule and regulation. Okay? Think about that. When they're able to rule this coin, and I only say that in a doomsday situation to where, like 1934, when they consumed the people's gold, confiscated the people's gold, they did it legally, unlawfully in my opinion, but legally in their minds. They took all the gold from all the people because they needed it, because times of war, and it dictated that we not treat our citizens as people, as collateral. That's what they did, my opinion. Again, my show. This is what the ETF will do to Bitcoin. It will put it under the umbrella of 5 or 6, 8, 10 companies. Ultimately, it's probably going to be down to 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, I know it's starting off at 14 or whatever. That umbrella that's under can legally be taken by the U.S. government, saying it's trillions of dollars. I'm saying when Bitcoin becomes, $5 million or whatever down the road, and they need that money, that currency, okay, that commodity now, that digital commodity, for the weaponization or whatever else they may deem more important to all mankind than you owning it, they will confiscate it from those ETF markets. Period. That's what they will do. You can even say that BlackRock's involved with these people. That would not be a stretch. So I didn't believe that the use case of XRP would ever be deemed a commodity or something, or a stock or a equity, because we just went through this entire case for 3 years, 2.5 years, and we said it's not a currency, or it's not a stock. It's not an equity. That's why I said, well, if it's not an equity, it won't be an ETF. Why is it not an equity? Because it's a transfer, it's a liquid market. The liquidity, unlimited liquidity market of transaction is what XRP is. It's the purest sense of the word currency that I've ever seen, ever read, ever. It creates its own liquidity, it creates its own transactions, it creates its own contract at both ends. This is brilliant technology that you and I own. Brilliant. And it's going places. I didn't believe that they would be able to categorize it as a commodity or stock and put it in a corner and ETF it to where millions of people could spend billions of dollars on it and control a lot of these coins. That's why I said what I said. I hope all of that makes sense. I'm not trying to prove myself right in this video whatsoever. Like I say, I get at least half the things I say on this channel wrong. I hope I'm not wrong about that, and here's why. They will be able to manipulate the price of it. I shouldn't say it like that. Long term, they will have more control over XRP if it's an ETF. If it's a free-floating, self-contained through the banking network system, it will be more viable to you and I 5 to 10 to 20 years down the road. If they simply put a label on it and put it under the umbrella of 5 or 6 companies and then get everybody in the world to buy it through ETF, and less people hold it in their private wallets, possibly even making it illegal to own it in certain countries. We know who they might be. To a country near you. That would be a big, long time problem for XRP in my mind. So am I hoping that they get an ETF? No. Do I think it's coming now? There's rumors. Am I okay with being wrong? Yeah, because the short-term price will be skyrocket, which would make everybody watching this channel probably a whole lot of money. However, having said that, and the long-term use case for mankind and the well-being of all of us, I hope it doesn't happen. And I really hope I made that whole video clear for everybody. I'm hoping for a better world through these cryptocurrencies. I'm not trying to strengthen government control. I'm trying to do quite the opposite. And them coming in and controlling, every time I talk, 2.5 years I've been doing this channel, and I tell everybody, regulation simply means manipulation. When they use the word regulation, that means they're about to manipulate whatever they're going to regulate. And when they manipulate things, it's for their favor. It's not for you and I. It just isn't. And that can't be any more blatantly clear than the shenanigans that the SEC has been pulling in recent years. And I would like to use other words than shenanigan, but I think you get the point. This is a time of man's growth. Remember, my biggest equation wasn't charts, wasn't banking laws. My biggest equation in this three-part of man's importance going forward with technology was the man part. The human need for interaction and perfect commerce between all man. This is what I hope for. This is what I see first. Until it's proven differently to me, that's what my goal going forward in anticipation and my conscious beliefs of where crypto and where we're all going with this is leading. And then things that come along and trip me up, and I see that, oh wow, really they're going to pass those laws, or they're going to fight us again in the courts, or they're going to manipulate it again, or they're going to tell the public on the evening news that don't own this, or they're going to tell everybody that only fraudsters own it, or one more time they're just going to beat it into everybody, oh it got launched and then it didn't get launched, and then everything is in their court. The beautiful thing about what's happening to the world today is less and less people believe anything that the people in control are saying. And personally, I think that's beautiful. All right, guys, I love you very much, and I will see you all soon.